everyone, I'm Nell, bringing you today's Bible story. It's about the second journey Paul took to tell people about Jesus. Some very exciting things happened to Paul and his friends as they obeyed God's call to share the gospel. Let's watch.
The early church sent Paul and Silas to check on the new believers. Paul and Silas traveled to the new churches. All the churches were getting stronger and more people believed in Jesus every day. One night, Paul saw a vision. A vision is like a dream, but Paul was awake. In the vision, God told Paul to go to Macedonia. God wanted Paul to share the gospel with the people there. So Paul went to Macedonia. He and those with him stopped for a few days in a city called Philippi. On the Sabbath day, Paul and his friends went to the river to pray. Some women were there, and Paul started talking to them. A woman named Lydia was listening, and God opened her heart to accept what Paul was saying. Lydia and everyone in her household believed, and they were baptized. On another day, Paul and Silas were on their way to pray, and a servant girl met them. She had a spirit in her that allowed her to predict the future. She earned a lot of money for her masters by telling the future. The girl followed Paul and Silas, shouting, "These men are servants of the Most High God." She followed them for many days. Finally, Paul turned and said to the spirit in her, "By the power of Jesus Christ, I command you to come out of her." And the spirit came out right away. Now the girl's owners were upset because she could no longer tell the future. They grabbed Paul and Silas and dragged them to the authorities. They complained about Paul and Silas. Paul and Silas were beaten and thrown into jail. About midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing songs to God. The other prisoners were listening. All of a sudden, a violent earthquake shook the foundation of the jail. All the doors flew open and everyone's chains came loose. The jailer woke up and saw the prison doors open. He thought the prisoners had escaped, so he took out his sword and was about to take his own life. "Don't hurt yourself," Paul said. "We are all here." The jailer rushed inside and fell down in front of Paul and Silas. He was very afraid. Then he took Paul and Silas outside. "Men, what must I do to be saved?" he asked. They said to him, "Believe in the Lord Jesus, and you will be saved." The jailer and everyone in his household believed, and they were baptized. The jailer brought Paul and Silas into his house and fed them. Later that day, Paul and Silas were set free. Lydia, the jailer, and many others were saved because they believed in Jesus. Jesus offers us salvation as a gift. He did all the work to save us by dying on the cross. We do not need to earn salvation. We can just receive it by repenting and trusting in Jesus.
Paul did important work as he traveled. He started churches in other cities and taught people about Jesus. Because Paul shared the gospel, many people believed and were saved from their sins. Everyone needs to hear the good news about Jesus.